Hey guys, welcome in this new video. I hope that all of you are doing great. So in this video, what we're going to talk about is how to actually go from being an average retail trader to actually really understanding how to trade and getting extremely consistent results. So I'm going to explain you guys what I did personally and what you can do on your own to also basically go from just an average trader to a professional. So really excited to get in this video as always. So if you guys like this type of content, make sure that you drop a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. It helps me grow the channel even more, and make sure as well that you are subscribed if it's not already done. So let's get right to it, all right? So essentially, just to put you guys in context, right? I've been trading for 7 years. And so at the beginning of my journey, so let's say in the first year, I was alone in this journey. I didn't have a mentor, I didn't have a coach. So I was trying to learn on the internet by watching YouTube videos, reading articles and stuff like that. And it did not really work, okay? Just to make it short, simply because I was not learning the right information. At that point, I was still, again, just an average retail trader, and I was not really getting any type of results, right? And then after that, I met my mentors, and with these people, this is when I really started to get into more the right side of trading, portfolio management, understanding risk management as well, and stuff like that. And this is really when over time I really developed my own system and became consistently profitable. And so I've really been able to make myself this shift, if you want. And so this video can really be helpful for you guys, because if at this moment, right, you are at a point in your trading where you are not really consistent, if you don't really have the results that you want, if you are not really making a lot of money, well, this video is for you, right? It's a really important one because it's going to help you make this transition to actually become a really good trader, all right? Now, essentially, let me explain you guys the idea that I came up with when I was at the beginning of my journey, right? And how this idea actually helped me to become a better trader. Now, here's the thing, right? You have to understand that in the trading industry, right, you have about 90% of people who lose money, right? So 90% of retail traders who actually try to trade, well, they eventually lose money and just give up on trading, right? They just try it for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, maybe a couple of years, and then they just give up after losing, some money, okay? So that's the situation of most people, right? Now, after that, we have the 10%, right? Now, in the 10%, you also have to keep in mind that it also includes the people who are not really losing money, but they're also not really making money, right? So they are more around break even. And so the idea here to understand is that there are actually very few people who make a lot of money on the markets consistently, right? So it's really not as easy as most people think, right? But it's also not as hard as you may think, right? And the reason why I say that is because essentially what you really have to focus on and what could make the big difference is simply the information that you have about trading. In other words, how to trade, right? You need to have the right information. You need to know how to actually do it properly, right? Just like any professional does, in order to really get the results that you want, right? And so the problem is that if you just go on YouTube, you read articles, right? Which is what I was doing at the beginning of my journey. Well, of course, it's not going to work, right? Of course, that just makes a lot of sense, right? Think about it, right? If you trade like most people, right? If you do things like most people, right? Even if we just look at it from a broader range, right? If you do things like most people, you are going to get results like most people, right? So what does that mean? If you do things like most people in trading, you are going to get the same results as them, which means probably nothing, right? So it's really, really, really important to understand this, guys, because I see so many new people getting into trading, and if you don't have this idea in mind right from the beginning, you will waste so much time, because you will study, you will learn things that you need not to learn, okay? Like, that's extremely important, right? If you don't understand this right from the beginning, right, you will focus on the wrong things, just like I did, and you will waste a lot of time, right? It took me over 1 year to figure this out, right? Like what I'm explaining you guys right now, it took me 1 year to kind of make up my mind with this thought, and then to realize that I needed a mentor to actually learn how to trade properly, right? And then in a couple of months, I became profitable, right? So I could have saved about 1 year of time if I had understood this right at the beginning, right? So that's the reason why I'm making this video for you guys today. I want you to save this time. I want you to save probably a lot of money and efforts as well by not making this mistake, right? So the best thing that you can do for yourself right at the beginning is to actually find this information, right? Now, this is something that I do, and this is something that I teach in our coaching program, right? But I'm not necessarily the only resource, right? There are plenty of other people, right, that you could learn from. You could search mentors personally, right? I mean, it's up to you, right? You could read books, right? Not all books, not all YouTube videos are bad, right? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you need to actually find the right type of information, and you need to understand who you are listening to, right? Is it really someone that has good results and that has proven their results over the long term, or is it just another person that is a bit random, right, that makes videos online for free, right? So you just need to kind of understand this dynamic here, and also understand the industry, right, and the truth of it, right? Because most people, as I said, are not profitable. That's normal. That's how it works, right? You have a bunch of people who lose a small amount of money, and then you have a few people who make a lot of money, right? So people, when they lose, they don't lose much, right? Sometimes they will lose a few hundreds, a few thousands, but on the size of the market, it's very, very little, right? But you have a lot of people who lose that money, right? And then you have a few people who make a lot of money from the markets consistently, right? And so to make this shift, you simply have to understand where you are getting the information in. And so the question that you guys can ask yourself to actually help you just navigate through all of this, right? It's to simply that when you learn something, right? When you learn a strategy, a system, right? A indicator, a way to take your trades, whatever, right? Just ask yourself the question, right? How many people on the internet do I see trading like this, right? So if you go on YouTube and you watch a bunch of trading strategy videos, you will see they're all the same, okay? Most of them are all the same, right? They all teach the same concepts. It's all super basic, right? It's all technicals based. It's all short-term based as well, right? They're all the same, right? Just do it for yourself, right? Go on YouTube, you know, just type forex trading strategy, watch the first 10 videos, you will see it's all the same stuff, right? So ask yourself the question, right? If everybody is trading like that, do you think you can get good results with doing this? The answer is obviously no, okay? So you have to do things differently than most people. So just do the research yourself, right? Go on the internet, try to see what most people are doing, and then do the opposite. Try to not do this, right? Because in order to know how to do something in life, right, it also goes true for trading, you need to know what not to do, right? You need to know what to avoid if you also want to know what you can do after this, right? So instead of just searching right at the beginning to how to trade, well, flip the question in your mind and ask yourself, how shall I not trade, right? And then you watch all of these videos by retail traders, right? You try to see how they trade, and you just avoid this, right? You make a conscious decision of, okay, I'm not going to follow this because it's not going to work, right? So you just have to kind of go a step further, right? And you have to take this idea and really implement it, because that's exactly what I did, and it just worked amazingly, right? But it's really important to do, because otherwise, even if you work really hard, even if you are really focused, even if you do everything that you can to become a good trader, well, if you don't have the right information to begin with, it's never going to work. You are putting effort at the wrong place, right? Like, it's not, you know, put it this way, right? Like, if you want to become successful in trading, you have to work a lot more smarter and not necessarily harder, right? So it's not about, you know, working 10, 12, 15 hours per day on your trading. This is not what will make you a profitable trader, right? You don't need to put in that much time. You know, like, what I tell to my students is that on average, right, if they can spend about like 1 hour per day, they will be able to get amazing results in not that long, simply because they already have access to my system. They have access to the whole idea, right, of how I trade, and it's a lot easier because they already have the right information, so they don't need to put in that much work, right? Whereas if you don't have this type of information, even if you work really hard, it's not going to work. So it's a lot more about working smart, understanding how things work, and then implementing that within your own trading, and not necessarily just putting in the reps, right? Trading is not really about that. It's not a hard working game, right? Even for myself, right? I don't really work hard, especially nowadays on my trading, right? Since I trade more medium to long term, it doesn't really take me a lot of time, right, on a daily basis. So I don't really work hard on trading, but I make a lot of money with the markets, right? So it's all about understanding, again, this kind of dynamic here. So I hope that this video was helpful for you guys. I went in a few different directions, but overall the idea was the same. Look at what most people are doing and just try not to do this, right? Avoid all of these and try to do something different, right? Try to go to the next level and just learn from the right people. And this is really what will help you just develop your trading. So I hope again that this was helpful. If it was, feel free to drop a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Make sure that you share it around. I think a lot of people would benefit from hearing this. And on that, take care, trade with care, manage your money well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.